Let's see what we got going on here. As you guys know, all of this stuff is new to me. I'm trying to get it right. I'm taking advantage of this preseason to treat all of my shows as preseason. And give me just a second. We'll get started here. Got a lot of stuff going on. I see that there's already people on here watching. We look like we up to about 9 people already, so I appreciate that. I like that very much. So I'm gonna start off by giving a few shout outs as I wait for everything to get going. But as you see, let's see, let me make sure that you can hear me here. Yeah, you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear me. My technology is not fully working yet, but let me give some shout outs real quick. Dylan from Reddick. I was a minute late. Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys now that this is my preseason as well, so there will be some mistakes going on, but we're gonna try to keep them to a minimum. That's why we're doing these as promised, so that we can keep everything where everything needs to be. And let's see if I can give a few more shout outs before we get started here. This is not going to be a long broadcast, but I want to interact with you guys. You know, my tagline is, I work for you. Oh, I got a little error there. But I know I've been babbling for a second, but I promise we are about to get rolling as soon as I can make sure that all of this is doing exactly what it needs to do. All right. So without further ado, I am live talking to you guys. I want to thank everybody for joining, for watching. Chris Jenkins with Charlotte Vibe, credentialed news person that covers the Carolina Panthers. Today is an off day for the Carolina Panthers. No practice. They had 5 straight days, 2 unpadded, 3 padded practices. A lot of things happened, but with no practice today, I thought it'd be a good time to talk with some of what I feel like are my favorite YouTubers that are out there talking about the Carolina Panthers. There's a lot of good people out there that has content about the Carolina Panthers, and I have a unique position that not everybody possesses, in that I control my media company. So I can bring people together like I'm about to do now and share them with you and let you guys get in on it. And let me just go ahead and give a few more shout outs, and we're going to get rolling through this. And then I want to hear your questions, your comments about this upcoming season. What do you think is going to happen, good or bad? Any predictions about this team? Any players that you are most excited to see about? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Let me get through these few other comments here. Brandon Ludwig Gold, what's up? Michael White, what's up? Panthers rule, hey. Hershey, keep hard work. I am working hard. I appreciate you noticing. Dylan says, what's up? Not hating, just excited. All right. Hey, there's going to be a lot more stuff that's coming, but I got to roll it out bit by bit as I get through this stuff. Slimming, Duncan, let's go. All right. So, Shalitron. I hope I'm saying his name right. But anyway, without further ado, I hit up 3 individuals in no particular order. I'm going to go through them. And before I get really into it, I'm going to say this. I plan to be the most accessible media guy in Charlotte, all right? So if you guys want me on your podcast, your YouTubes, whatever it is, please hit me up. It's very easy to do so. cjenkins@charlottevibe.com. And also be sure to follow me on all social media. So without further ado, what's up, Curtis Harris? Let me click over to the screen right here. First up, this guy. Actually, I'm just going to go backwards order of how I discovered about these people so that nobody gets worried about the order that I'm going in. I believe it is pronounced Shalitron, and I found out about this guy a little over a year ago. And this guy is really doing his thing on YouTube. He has some extremely good knowledge of the Carolina Panthers, has a lot of energy. So first up, Shalitron. Links will be below for all these guys that are on here. I encourage you to check them out on YouTube, as I check them out quite frequently and see what they're thinking. But first up, Shalitron is going to share with us what he feels about this upcoming Carolina Panthers season.
Hey, what's good? Shalitron here out in nature. It's a beautiful thing. And my one prediction for the Panthers 2019 season is that the offense might just be an even more explosive version of the 2018 Chiefs. We saw what Pat Mahomes was able to do, but with Cam Newton, the offensive line being healthy, Christian McCaffrey, actual backups we're going to use, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Chris Hogan, Darius Wright, the whole crew, everyone working together, especially that O-line, especially with Cam looking good, especially even with the defense getting stops way we haven't had in a couple years. We should be looking really good for this season, man. So I think the offense, we all know what the defense can do. We have a really good attacking defense that's going to get guys off their spots. But the offense this year is really going to be what's really bumping this year. We might see a resurgence of 2015 Cam, but even if we don't, look for him to have a really great year, be in the MVP conversation, and for us to be in the Super Bowl favorite conversation.
All right, so there you have it. That was my man Shalitron talking about what he sees for this Carolina Panthers team upcoming in the 2019 season. I would comment, but I told you I'm still getting stuff straight, so I wasn't able to hear that audio just as it was planned to directly comment on it. But you guys, let's leave some comments below on what you thought of Mr. Shalitron. And again, his comment, a link to his YouTube page is below, so be sure to check my man out, all right? Next up, who do we have next up? Next up, my man Baby Bubba. Baby Bubba, what's up? I hope I did it all right, but Pat Coltrane, again, another guy that I found out about that talks about the Carolina Panthers. Really good guy, really insightful, really comedic. You know, I'll try to give a little trait about each guy as I come through. So Pat Coltrane gives you some very good information, but he's really comedic. And also he's done some shows for me as we interview James Bradbury. So folks, right now I'm going to let you hear, again, another top YouTuber, at least in my opinion, that talks about the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to let you hear some Pat Coltrane.
Panther Nation, what's up with you, Baby Bubba? I said, Baby Bubba, what's up with you? It's your boy, Pat Coltrane, here to give my thoughts on the upcoming season for my man's Chris Jenkins with Charlotte Vibe. Check this out. I'm not even going to be long. I know every year we give some kind of crazy prediction. We all feel like this is the year. But let me tell you, right now, this is it. This is it. Coming into this season, man, just feels special. I feel like this season is going to have something special for us. I ain't gonna give no predictions. You know how your boy roll. If you follow me on YouTube, you know how your boy roll. But it just feels special. Cam is back healthy. I'm super excited about that. One more thing, this defensive front is different. Okay, this defensive scheme is a little bit different with the addition of Gerald McCoy, a first-round pick, Brian Burns. We're gonna be bringing that heat this year. You hear me? We're going to be bringing that heat this year, and I'm going to be here for it. Go follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Panther Nation, we here. Keep pounding, Baby Bubba. I said, Baby Bubba, keep on pounding.
All right, so I found a way to hear the audio as it's going through here. But Pat Coltrane, Baby Bubba, what's up? Hopefully I said his name right. He is most looking forward to this defense. How could you not be excited about the defense with Brian Burns, Gerald McCoy, Bruce Irvin? You got some new defensive schemes that we're going to be doing in there, switching things around, which should, as we, it's something new. Coach Rivera talked about he's doing this because he feels like the defense has gotten a little stale. He's had guys that have been on his coaching staff that are now playing for other teams, and he feels like it's too many of those guys that have gotten out, so let's change it up a little bit. So you got to be excited about that. And if those guys up front are doing their things, you got Shaq Thompson. Of course, Luke Kuechly already been back there being a beast that could do good. And if the front line does good, you can get some pressure on the secondary. The secondary can do good, and vice versa. So lots of stuff to be excited about there in regards to the defense. And Pat Coltrane, again, please check all these guys out. This is just a snippet about what they think about the upcoming season. If you're writing comments, I just hadn't looked at them yet, but I want to get to everybody's comments right after I play this one more. So please continue to leave those comments, and I will address them all because I work for you guys. I do. I really do. All right, so next up is the C3 Carolina Panthers podcast. So these guys, very first group of people that reached out to me on YouTube, liked what I was doing, had me on their show several times. Tony, man, Tony, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit with this whole production thing because other YouTubers probably know this, especially if you're doing live. It's a lot. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I got cords going all over the place, these lights, but Tony does an excellent job with production. Like his production, his audio, his video, his lineup notes, all this stuff. Anyway, I think they even have a call-in line. So please check out the C3 Panthers podcast. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a listen on seeing what the C3 Panthers podcast thinks about the upcoming 29. Did I say 2018 earlier? If I did, I'm sorry. Please be forgiven me. Y'all know got a lot on my plate. But here we go. Let's listen.
My man, Chris Jenkins, man of the people, thanks for reaching out to me. One of the storylines that I'm going to be following this year is the defense. At the end of last season, after that tragic decline, the defense was a big part of it. And then you hear of the transition to the 3-4 scheme. It felt like, in many ways, it was going to be a full defensive rebuild. You see Thomas Davis exodus. You also see Julius Peppers retire. And Dontari Poe was a letdown for most last year. But then the Panthers go out and get some really veteran names that we think all could have an impact immediately in Gerald McCoy, Bruce Irving, draft a #1 draft pick in Brian Burns. That's an exciting player. But bringing back Eric Reed and still having Luke Kuechly, KK Short, Mario Addison, it's starting to feel like a retool. So, Chris, that's what I'm going to be interested in following is how this defense is it, and what not only how it looks and how they play, but the continuity from last year to this year with that group of people, or does it feel completely different?
All right. So there we go with the C3 podcast. And like I said, now I'm going to have a chance to look at some of these comments that you guys have been leaving and address those. But man of the people, like I said, I wanted to bring those 3 guys, could be girls next year if I find some more people. So I also invite you, if you know some other good YouTubers out there that talk about Panthers news and gives updates, leave a comment below. Let's give those people a little shout out as well so we can help discover. Because, if you like Panthers, and there's never too much content that you can have out there. So some things that my man Tony talked about from the C3 podcast. I want to know, do you think Dontari Poe was a letdown last year? I know Rivera talks about him as doing his job, kind of stuffing the lanes, giving the other guys a good opportunity. He is a pretty round guy. I would say probably one of our biggest guys, and in terms of girth, without looking at the stat sheet to see his actual weight. He was relatively quiet, in my opinion, but and also he talked about Gerald McCoy, Bruce Irvin, and Burns being picked up. I'm sorry, Burns was a draft pick, but the others were picked up. And last but not least, bringing back Eric Reed. So what do you guys think about bringing back Eric Reed? He's obviously back now, but do you think that was good or bad? I think there's some interesting things to that guy for sure, but I also feel like his play has been pretty solid. If you just focus on his field behavior, field play, had more than a few interesting things. But nevertheless, let me read some comments here and have some interaction. There's always another plug to let you guys know. We do super chats. No need to do one tonight, but we always appreciate the support because I'm 100% supported by you all. So anytime you want to do that, please do, and super chats will always be addressed. And I like to say I work for you all. So if there's anything I haven't talked about, something you want to see, let me know. So let me get to some of these comments here. All right, Icy Pablo believes the defense is going to be the strength. I don't know if I would say it's going to be the strength. I think you might say it is after last season, in which the defense was not the strength. I believe it was 3 or 4 games where they were, 30-plus points that were being allowed, and wasn't helpful, I think, offensively. We had a pretty good explosion now. Certainly Cam's shoulder being hurt limited some things in that second half. But this offense with McCaffrey, Olsen, if he stays healthy, even Ian Thomas coming back, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Cam Newton, man, and North Turner did a lot of creative things last year. I think it could be exciting for both, but I'm still gonna pump the brakes a little bit. And I always go to think, New Orleans Saints are in our division, and they were pretty good last year. No reason that they're going to take a downward spiral this year. So you got to respect the fact that we're in a division with the New Orleans Saints, which has a heck of a quarterback in Drew Brees. And you also got to give, even though I know a lot of people don't like the Atlanta Falcons at all, they seem to be looking pretty decent as well. So we can't forget about that. Let's see what else we got here. Just trying to read through the comments here. Amazon guy, what's up? Trill. Keep doing this. We love you. So, for those who may be watching for the first time, again, I want to introduce myself, Chris Jenkins, credentialed media member for the, or not for, but covering the Carolina Panthers. I have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. And I'm at the games all the time, at the practices all the time. So, I have promised, and I will do a video every single day that there is practices, training camp. So if you have questions about something that happened, just hit me up on YouTube, leave a comment, and I'll go to work for you all and get those questions answered. So subscribe if you have not already subscribed, hit the bell notification. And again, I'm going to keep saying it, hopefully I'm not saying it too much. This production, all this stuff that you're going to see is going to do nothing but better. I'm not even using a tenth of it because I'm trying to not make too many mistakes with these new broadcasts. But appreciate the comments there. Dylan believes or agrees that Dontari Poe was a letdown, being that his natural nose tackle position will be a game changer. Okay. You hope Tepper doesn't move the team to South Carolina in terms of games being played. Taylor says that I don't believe there's a risk at all of the team being moved to South Carolina. I mean, Tepper has plenty long money, but there's already a stadium here in Charlotte. Charlotte's a banking capital. You know, he has a lot of endorsements and deals coming from Charlotte. I think the extent of moving the practice facilities to South Carolina is going to be what we see from Tepper, and quite likely the training camps will start to take place at that facility as well, if not in other counties. I say counties, but other regions of North Carolina, like a Raleigh-Durham area, or even the Wilmington. I don't know what other cities over there, but near the coast could be spots that he moves this around. And he's just going to be a businessman. I think that it would be smart of him to move it around for like 3 or 4 years, like have 4 sites. Hey, actually, as I'm saying this, I think this is a good idea. So hear me out. What do y'all think if he has like 4 sites, maybe 2 in North Carolina, 2 in South Carolina, and they just rotate like the Olympics. Every 4 years, you go to a new place, so you know that you're going to return. So having like Columbia, Spartanburg, Raleigh-Durham area, and maybe one area that's near the coast. I think that will be awesome. So David Tepper, check it out. Rotate them around. Let me go to the next question here. I'm not understanding some stuff here, so I'm sorry if I don't mention it because I was not understanding it. Reed was great. He has high hopes for Gaulden. Yeah, Gaulden's in a competition right now at that position, and you want to see that guy do well. So we'll keep an eye out on Gaulden. Hasn't done anything yet to stand out, but he seems like toward that end of last season that he was maturing in terms of knowing what he needs to do, what he's not doing well. So we're just going to have to wait and see on Gaulden as of right now. Amazon guy thinks Poe was a letdown, didn't hear his name at all last year. Yeah, Dontari was pretty quiet, man, pretty quiet. Like I said, Rivera said he did a good job of stuffing the lane, so maybe that's where his value was with us last year. Hit up for man rush for Panthers. All right, I think this is somebody shouting out. So, Mr. Clark, if you are shouting out somebody else on YouTube that covers the Panthers, just leave a link so people can click on it and follow through so we can check them out. So, just trying to spread the love. Like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there that do a lot of good stuff covering the Panthers, and I just want to highlight them. What effect do you think Perry Farrell will have on our secondary? All right, so you know me, I'm always an honest guy. I'm not familiar with who you're talking about. Let me take a quick look here. I'm just not even sure what you're talking about. So Dylan, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you know of some ignorance. So fill me in there. We're all here from Panthers. Shout out Justin Wilson. What's up? Shalitron joins us in. Colin Jones fan account checking in. Why y'all be giving Colin Jones a hard time, man? That guy is a solid. My man Shelly, are you a fan of Colin or not? Let me ask that before I give him any more comments. All right, some people are happy to see you here, man. So appreciate you checking in. More than one person's happy that you checking in, Shell. So appreciate you doing so. C3. He's late, but here. Yeah, you might only get a few minutes, man. We're wrapping up. You know, I don't like to do these more than 30 minutes. I'd rather do these more often than do them very long. Plus, I just ate, so you probably see me burp a few times. But nevertheless, Taylor, after watching All or Nothing, what do you think of Dante Jackson? All right, I like that. What do I think of Dante Jackson after watching? By the way, I have one more episode to watch on All or Nothing because the boy trying to do a lot, keeping Charlotte Vibe going. But, you know, I would say that didn't change the way I think about Dante Jackson, because you got to look at the mentality of this guy and his ability, right? Pretty unique guy, undersized guy that plays really well. And he obviously plays with a lot of, I don't know, a lot of bark, right? So, and a lot of confidence. So, and he's young, so you're not going to have a guy that just, you tell him, you go to criticize him about what he's doing, and he just kind of like, you know, whimpers down and say, yes, sir, no, sir. I mean, a guy that has that edge like Dante has, that's the kind of resistance you're going to get to that person when you're telling them something, especially if it's for the first time and they're not happy with how they're performing and they're trying to get adjusted to stuff. So I have no problems at all with Dante Jackson last year and what All or Nothing exposed. You know, what I really did like was the fact that you had other veterans speak up to him and tell him like, yo, you're not performing. And, you know, that's good to see that people will step up like that in the locker room versus saying, well, this guy's really good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure him also being a rookie made those other guys feel compelled to talk to him and let him know what's up. So I feel good about Dante. You guys can certainly chime in with the comments and let me know what you think about Dante or any other things that you think about. We got about 6 more minutes left in the live broadcast. I figured he was a coach when you mentioned that. So I'm not familiar with him as a coach to give much the opinion about what I think the influence he may have on those guys, but I feel like a bigger influence